3 years after marrying into a rich family, I got kicked out. From then on, I lived a lonely yet rich life, with my monthly 7-figure alimony and a 7,500 square foot villa. With nothing better to do, I stumbled upon a popular question online: what's the best thing you've ever found? I replied, my ex-husband. Wrote an 800-word essay singing his praises. Unexpectedly, the answer blew up. People found out my ex was a CEO, and fans started shipping us hard. I quickly posted a video: he doesn't like me, I'm not good enough for him. Then someone shared a video of my ex crying at the gate of my community, holding our divorce papers. Internet, see? He totally loves you. I divorced Henry in our 3rd year of marriage. I initiated it, and he didn't stop me. He quickly drafted the asset split, giving me a big apartment in 4 major cities and a villa in Beijing. Plus a 7-figure alimony each month. See? He just wanted me gone ASAP, he split the assets so fast. Couldn't wait to get rid of me. So there I was, with all this wealth, getting kicked out of the high life. I feared if I lingered, I'd burst out laughing. A year post-divorce, I was living the good life on his alimony. One day, saw someone online asking about the best thing they ever stumbled upon. I, sitting in the big apartment in City B he gave me, sipping 6-figure wine, typed my comment. My biggest find was my ex. I got 4 3,000 square foot apartments, a villa, and a 7-figure monthly alimony. Together since college, others were interning or job hunting. He proposed right away, making me a rich wife right after graduation. Never went through hard times since meeting him. Now, I don't work. I just shop, travel, and his payments are ever so punctual. I wasn't expecting much from the comment, but it soon got a flood of responses. Some doubted: if he gave you all this, isn't he like your dad's age? Or at least shorter than you by a head? Others wondered: treats you so well, why divorce? After some wine, I got a bit sentimental and praised Henry online. So yeah, he's the best thing I stumbled upon. I'm not worthy. He's same age as me, stands 6 feet 1 inch, super handsome. Swarmed by girls since high school. I had to really try hard to win him over in college. He expected too much from me, wanting the perfect high-class daughter-in-law, while I was just a wild kid with a temper, pissing off people in that circle. He wanted to change me, but I didn't listen. In the end, splitting was for the best. Someone asked if I missed him. I honestly replied, of course, I do. But he deserves someone better. After posting, I went to sleep. Woke up to my phone blowing up. Hundreds of thousands of likes, tens of thousands of comments. Some doubtful, some regretful, and many shipping us as a couple. My social media also gained a lot of followers. Cocky guys even started messaging me. Girl, how young are you? Being alone with that much money is lonely. Look at me, with a bachelor's from XYZ Tech, standing at 5 feet 9 inches. I was like, ugh, no thanks. First time dealing with being viral, I spent the whole day responding to comments. Complained to my friend, who knew Henry would still bring me so much good luck post-divorce. He's truly the nation's best ex. But as I read on, I noticed things getting weird. People started digging into my ex's identity. I jumped out of bed. Oh no, you can't just dig into his life. Worried the internet would figure out who Henry really is, I barely slept. The next day, my friend popped over, seeing me down. Honey, don't be upset. Let's go out and spend your ex's money. That sounded fun. We hit the mall, buying everything in sight. Ended up at a top-floor restaurant, planning to dine while watching the sunset. The dishes had barely hit the table when we saw some familiar faces. Who else would it be but Henry and a top model walking out of a private dining room? She'd worked abroad for years and was pretty laid back, giving Henry a hug goodbye. Sharp-eyed me had spotted Henry right away. Really didn't want him to see me, mostly to avoid awkwardness and because he was my financial backer and I wasn't gonna mess that up. He was with another pretty woman and all. His boring ex-wife wouldn't spoil the moment. But we sat near the entrance, so he'd pass us. Fast reflexes kicked in. I held the menu over my head and ducked into the leafy decoration. My friend knew what was up and saw Henry and the model a short distance away. She sat up straight, pretending she was there alone. After saying goodbye, the model left with her manager. Henry, starting to leave with his assistant, noticed something. My friend was my neighbor in high school, not in my class, and we didn't go to the same college, but is my longtime friend. Before divorce, I'd pack my stuff and crash at hers after fights with Henry, only for him to fetch me back. So, you could say Henry kinda knew her. Henry stopped at her table, glanced at the dishes, and noticed that she wasn't alone. He tapped the table. My friend put down the menu, feigning surprise. "Oh, Henry. Didn't see you there. What a coincidence, you're dining here too." Henry lazily lifted an eyebrow, glanced at the greenery behind her. "You here alone?" My bestie nodded. "Yeah, it's just me." Henry replied, "You ordered 3 lamb chops, 2 beef dishes, 4 French snails, and 5 cheese soufflés all by yourself?" I have a big appetite. Before my divorce, I'd eat a lot at fancy ladies' luncheons and got laughed at for half a year. And when I'm upset, I tend to eat even more. Seeing me squatting in the greenery with my head in my hands, my bestie tugged at my belt and pulled me out. "Handle this yourself," she said. Then she gave Henry a smile. "You guys chat, I'll just take a half-hour restroom break." My bestie made a quick exit, and I straightened up to greet him. "Ha ha ha, what a surprise, ex-husband." I blurted out ex-husband because I'd been replying to a question online earlier, so it just slipped out. Henry's face darkened a bit. He sneered, "No need to constantly remind us that we're divorced, right?" My mind raced, and I grinned. "Oh, I'm just worried it might impact your future love life, so I thought it's best to be clear about it." Henry didn't reply but signaled to his assistant, who dutifully headed towards the ladies' room, probably to fetch my bestie. Sure enough, a little while later, my bestie messaged me. "Babe, your ex's assistant just gave me $10,000. I'm off shopping. Money grubber. Mind if I join you for a meal?" Henry asked. I eagerly agreed. "Of course you can, it's all bought with your money." Not sure if it was just me, but Henry's face seemed to darken even more. Even though we were dining together, I was the only one eating. Henry gave off this vibe that he ran into his ex-wife and had to make small talk to avoid her making a scene, worried it might hurt his chances of being voted the city's best entrepreneur. He asked, "How have you been lately?" I took a big bite of steak. "Thanks to you, Henry, life is sweet, everything tastes great, and I have everything I need. I've got several homes to stay in, and I'm either out shopping or traveling every day. I've even gained several pounds." His eyebrows twitched, and he asked, "Have you thought about finding someone new?" I paused mid-cutting. Seriously, I may not be the sharpest, but I know the law. If I get a boyfriend or get married, my ex could definitely stop paying my support. Wow, the rich life sure has its traps. Good thing I'm smart enough to dodge them. I straightened up. "Don't worry, I've got no desire for romance. My mind's only on money, no man whatsoever. If you're really worried, next month I'll take a break at a nunnery." But the more I said, the worse Henry's face got. Sigh, it's hard to please the rich. Henry didn't touch his cutlery the whole time, just watched me down everything on the table. His assistant came over, mentioned a meeting, and he finally left. Before leaving, he turned to me. "Next time just call me by my name. It makes me think the company hired someone not too bright, like before." Whenever he sends me money each month, I always send back a boss kneeling emoji and some lucky phrases. May Henry drive luxury cars, live in skyscrapers, and make endless money every year. May the boss stay youthful and quickly find a lovely bride. If I'm in a good mood, I'll throw in some rap. May my Henry be smooth, invite wealth, have joy like the wind, fortunes blow like kites, and compete for wealth and health, longevity of mountains and seas. His replies are always the same. See, he just doesn't want to deal with me. It's not that I deliberately avoid calling his name, I'm just afraid doing so might stir up unrealistic fantasies. How can there be no fantasies when he's the one I've liked since I was 16? I recognized the supermodel dining with Henry that day. Her name's Judy, quite famous. Her posters hang at luxury stores and she played a courtesan in a recent period film, hinting at a film career. Henry's company even announced her as their jewelry brand ambassador. They didn't have jewelry before. Back in high school, I was obsessed with jewelry design, filled my notebook with sketches, and even got them confiscated in class. Henry eventually got it back for me from the teacher's office when he went to revise test papers. Back then, I dreamed of designing jewelry. When Henry proposed, he ventured into jewelry. In just a few years, it became a shining star in homegrown jewelry. But who would have thought the business that proposed to me now compliments someone new? They laugh at the new, forget the old tears. I sat in my 700 square meter hilltop mansion, opened some wine, turned on some music, and got emo. I thought I and that supermodel had no connection. I mean, she's on another level. When I was Henry's wife, I'd see many celebs. Post-divorce, I started this small account for my own career. Signed up for events that wouldn't accept me. But after I posted about my ex, I gained followers. Brands knew I was a rich widow. Suddenly, these events that didn't want me are asking me. At one such event, I met Judy. She was the only star invited, and us influencers and rich ladies got to take a photo with her, sharing it on our accounts as promo. While waiting, I Googled her to act as her fan later. Finally, it was my turn. I put on my starstruck eyes. Judy, I've liked you for ages. I watched you on that overseas modeling show. I wasn't expecting it. Before I even finished talking, I heard her sneer. There were cameras all around us, focused directly on us. She smiled, speaking softly so only the two of us could hear. Clara, I saw you at a restaurant a few days ago. My smile froze. Oh great, is this supermodel holding some grudge against me? Turns out, she was. She was all friendly, taking photos with other influencers, but when it came to me, she looked disinterested. She's 5 feet 9 inches and with those killer heels, she towered over me by half a head. Standing beside her, I might have the looks, but the vibe was way off. She only took one picture with me, and when the photographer suggested a new pose, before I could even reposition, Judy simply turned and walked away, leaving me there awkwardly. When the event ended, I went home and scrolled through my phone, and sure enough, it was trending. The internet turned against me, backing Judy, saying she was a true supermodel, while I was just an influencer looking for attention. Even with the world moving forward, people are still prejudiced against influencers. Marketing accounts everywhere shared the video. Judy's proud departure left me standing there uncomfortably. In the comments, Judy's fans were celebrating. "Ha, our queen's an international supermodel. Not any small-time influencer can ride her coattails. Who even is this influencer? Never heard of her. How's she even in a photo with our queen? The brand didn't care about this? Isn't she the one who got famous after that divorce gossip? Not sure if it's even true. Kicked out by the rich family but still gets $100,000 in alimony every month? No wonder Judy's avoiding her, she must know some rich people drama. Gosh, is she someone's trophy wife?" The comments were getting wild, and I couldn't take it. Reading them, I was crying my eyes out. After sobbing, I ordered a ton of takeout and called my bestie while bawling. Sniffling, I told her, "Babe, I don't think I'm cut out for this influencer gig. They're all tearing me apart, and I can't even clap back." I thought my best friend would comfort me. Instead, she said, "You're just realizing this now. You're too sensitive for this path. Back when I first met you, you'd cry during arguments. You've always lacked that fierceness, except for chasing Henry. To be honest, you got super lucky getting Henry." The more she talked, the louder I cried. What's the use now? Henry and I are divorced. I cried the entire night, feeling like my energy meridians had collapsed. At dawn, I stood on my balcony, watching the sunrise, and made a big decision. Babe, I'm getting serious about being an influencer. How about you become my assistant? I'll pay you $5,000 a month. As the sun came up, so did my career. Work needs to be about what you're best at. So what am I best at? Spending money. My bestie suggested, you should do vlogs about living the rich life. You've got loads of cash, and people love watching rich folks spend money. So my first video was a wealthy woman's unboxing video, and it went live. I expected backlash for showing off wealth, but nope. It was all, rich queen, you're so good at shopping. My second video was about my daily spending, and it blew up again. After 5 videos, I had 50K followers as a small-time influencer. Finally, I landed my first commercial gig, embedding a skincare product in a video for $5,000. I looked at my phone with the $5,000 deposit and sighed, it's been a while since I got paid this little. While editing my video, my bestie said, Henry really spoiled you, huh? You big baby, acting like $5,000's nothing. I couldn't argue with her. My parents passed when I was young, and I lived with my uncle. Although they treated me okay, they had 3 kids of their own and weren't well off. I never felt truly at home there. At first, I didn't know Henry came from such wealth. I just thought he was handsome and smart. So I chased him. When we got together, he proposed and gave my uncle's family a lot of money. That gift changed my life. My only help to Henry was probably when he was vying for the company inheritance against his cousin. I helped him establish Sia Jewelry, handling all initial designs, which turned out crucial for his win. Thinking about it, I sighed deeply. I really need to earn my own money. What if Henry remarries and decides to stop my alimony payments? Hearing this, my bestie sat up. You've been divorced over a year. He's still giving you so much money every month. Plus, you left with a truckload of luxury goods when you divorced. Don't tell me you saved nothing from that. Of course, I saved. But that's my nest egg, I'm not touching it if I can help it. Before, I was aimless, loving life at home or globetrotting, so I rarely saw Henry. But as my motivation kicked in, attending clubs and horse polo venues to create rich life vlogs, I ended up bumping into Henry. This club was one Henry introduced me to. Some staff still recognized me. I rarely rode, capturing that effortless rich woman rides gracefully image was tough. My bestie told me to practice more until I nailed it. While I was trying to tame this little white horse, Henry appeared, surrounded by people, and by his side, dressed sharply in white riding gear, was Judy. Noticing them, my bestie went to gather intel, learning Judy was shooting there as a jewelry ambassador. This riding club's vast, and they booked another area, not interfering with us. I'm not sure if Henry spotted me. After a few rounds on the horse, I rested. The moment I sat, Judy walked past. Her eyes landed on me, making it impossible to ignore her. I had to force a smile and say, what a coincidence, meeting you again. Judy, as usual, looked haughty, sneered, and left a comment, anyone can get in here. This club's standards are really low. She said it and strutted away like a model. I couldn't help but twitch my lips. This club has low standards? Does she not know Henry owns a big chunk of it? Celebrities were there shooting, and big bosses were around, so most of the staff's attention was elsewhere. At first, I had a coach with me, but when I got back on the horse, the coach was gone. I asked someone about it and found out that everyone had been called away by Judy. I had to figure things out on my own. I was doing okay till my friends started filming me. I was just getting into the groove, but then they needed to use smoke for Judy's photo shoot. The wind shifted, blowing all the smoke towards us. It smelled awful, and my horse, untrained for this, got spooked and started to bolt across the field. I was screaming my head off, and my friend tried to get help but realized nobody else was around. I ended up crashing into their shooting area, screams echoing across the club. The coaches were frozen, but Henry jumped into action. He got Judy off her horse and hopped onto the club's prized steed. He whipped his horse, and it took off like a rocket. Thank goodness, Henry caught up to me because I was on a regular racehorse. He shouted, "Don't be scared, hold on to the reins." Seeing him, I couldn't help but tear up. "Oh, Henry, save me." Skillfully, Henry got close, grabbed my horse's reins, and deftly switched from his horse to mine, holding me from behind. He took hold of the saddle and gave me the reins. I did what he said, gripping the saddle tightly. He took over, controlling the horse. Henry's been riding since he was young. Watching him in action was always breathtaking. He got my horse to run a few laps, tiring it out, and then slowed it down gently. The club staff rushed over like a swarm. By the time Henry dismounted, my legs gave out, and I ended up kneeling on the ground. My friend came running to hug me. "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" I was in shock, but managed to nod. I glanced at Henry, his hands were red from gripping the reins. I was about to speak when Judy barged in, holding Henry's hand. "Oh my gosh, you're hurt, Henry." Henry, the club's biggest shareholder, was injured, and everyone was on edge. Medical staff crowded around to check him. My friend helped me aside as Henry and Judy became the center of attention. I was just the outsider. Henry glanced up, and our eyes met. I looked away, and my friend led me away from the chaos. She took me to the club's lounge, got me checked by a doctor to make sure I was okay, and then we headed home. But as soon as we got back, social media exploded. Someone posted a video of the incident, showing me riding wildly and Henry leaping onto my horse to save me. It was too distant to see faces clearly. Judy posted a picture of her holding Henry's injured hand, with a caption, "Henry joined me for a shoot and got hurt because of me." Coincidentally, we were both wearing white riding gear, so people assumed Henry got injured saving her. It blew up online, and suddenly, Judy and Henry became a hot topic. Scrolling through my phone, I saw lots of speculation about them. I felt a pang of bittersweet nostalgia. It reminded me of when I'd see him paired with other girls. The first time I met Henry was in 10th grade when he transferred in. I fell for him instantly, secretly crushing and filling my diary with admiration. Back then, everyone thought he'd end up with our class rep. They were both always top of the class, and me, well, I was smart but not nearly at their level. During the junior year opening ceremony, they spoke as top students, looking perfect together, and people couldn't stop complimenting how well matched they were. Even my friends shipped them, joking about their romance novel chemistry. I elbowed her, and she backtracked. "Nah, too cliché. Henry should be with someone cute like you." She was on my side, but most still thought he belonged with the class rep. Whenever she called his name for anything, folks would tease. And I felt invisible, like just another extra in their love story. Until late junior year when a classmate caught me writing about my crush on Henry. He swiped my diary, reading my private thoughts out loud. "I'm scared he shows up, scared he won't, nervous when he looks my way, terrified when he doesn't. If they ask me about my worries, I can't even say your name, Henry. I really like you. Ah, Clara, you're so gross." The class laughed. I ran to snag my diary back, but he tossed it aside to another kid. Another guy opened the diary and read out loud, "When we make eye contact, does your heart also say, 'Welcome,' to me?" I ran over, and he did the same thing again, tossing the diary to another guy, who then read, "I've never had you for even a second, but I've lost you millions of times in my heart." "Huh, Clara, do you like Henry this much? Does he know?" As he finished, he tossed the diary to someone coming through the door, who caught it effortlessly. I was about to grab my diary back when I realized it was Henry who caught it. My heart skipped a beat. The first guy who took my diary saw Henry and laughed even harder. "Henry, Clara likes you. Do you know who Clara is? She's the quiet one in our class." When he said that, the whole class burst into laughter. Honestly, my eyes were starting to water, the feeling of wrong stuck in my throat, unbearable. But I knew that if I ran out crying now, it would just make them happier. So I held back my tears. Then I lifted my head, looked straight at Henry, and said firmly, "That's right, Henry, I do like you." "So what? You're handsome and smart, and you respect girls. Why wouldn't I like you, instead of those who don't respect girls?" After I said that, I wasn't sure of myself, but I stood there with my hands on my hips, looking at Henry. He looked back at me, and there it was, a bold confession. The class went silent, like everyone was waiting for an answer. After a while, Henry, the main character, suddenly laughed. He didn't bother looking at my diary, just closed it, walked up to me, and handed it back. He said, "Thanks for liking me, and please keep liking me." I didn't expect him to say that. For the rest of the class, I was on cloud 9. When I got home, I couldn't sleep all night. I was on the phone with my best friend, asking her what Henry meant by that. The next day, with dark circles under my eyes, I went to buy breakfast at the school gate. Henry suddenly showed up behind me. I blushed immediately. He remained calm. "Don't you girls, when you like someone, prepare cute lunches or breakfasts for them?" He glanced at the breakfast vendor's counter. I rummaged for change in my pocket. I only had $5 for breakfast a day. Wanting a char siu bao was a luxury. We locked eyes for quite a bit. In the end, he bought his pancake and got me 2 char siu baos. I munched on them, smiling at him. "Henry, I'll definitely keep liking you." Henry remained unchanged. "You probably like char siu baos." After my little secret got exposed, I became bolder. Every day I'd follow Henry around, my secret crush turning into an open one. Even my best friend reminisced years later, claiming I was almost bullying Henry with how forward I was. But I didn't care because during the second semester of our final year, Henry promised me, "Get into the same university as me, and I'll say yes to you." So, for the latter half of senior year, I threw myself into studying, and finally hit the university's entry score during exams. On the first day of university, Henry asked me, "I owe you a favor, name it." I thought for a while and then said, with bright eyes, "I want to go to Disneyland. I've never been. I worked so hard to get to this city, I just have to go." Henry's face darkened at that moment. I thought maybe the Disney ticket was too expensive and he wasn't happy about it. Later, I found out he expected me to ask us to officially become a couple. From the age of 16 to graduation at 22, married for 3 years, divorced for 1, and now 10 years later, Henry and I have circled back to being strangers. I sipped on wine in reflection. My best friend rolled her eyes. "Seriously, which stranger sends you $1 million a month for support?" Her reminder made me realize, if Henry ever really moved on, would he stop the payments? As the end of the month was nearing, Henry's payment was due. So, I took the first move, screenshot the trending gossip and DM'd him. "Henry, will you still send money next month?" No reply for a while. Just when I thought I might run out of funds, Henry called. I picked up immediately, adopting a subservient tone. "Hello, Henry." Before I could finish, he cut me off with a cold laugh. "I went through all this trouble to save you and not even a fruit basket in return, just asking for money?" I blinked, starting to spew nonsense. "Everyone said you got hurt saving Judy, nothing to do with me." The more I spoke, the more guilty I felt. He remained silent on the other end for a bit. Just when I thought he had hung up, he spoke again. "Half an hour to change. I'll be waiting outside your place in that time." By the time I was ready, he and his driver were already waiting at my door. I got in the back seat with a sheepish grin. Henry's still in his suit, probably having stayed late at the office. "Henry." He opened his eyes slowly. "You look like you're up to no good." I noticed his bandaged wrist, took out a small bandage from my bag, peeled it, and stuck it on top, then smiled, wishing Henry a swift recovery, make all the money, less anger, no lacking funds, and good health and fortune. Turns out when people are speechless with annoyance, they actually laugh. With a chuckle, he told the driver to go. I didn't ask where. It's not for me to guess the boss's intentions. Henry stayed quiet, so I stayed quiet, fiddling with my phone and typing to my bestie, the only sound being the taps of my nails on the screen. Quit talking bad about me to your friend. My typing paused. I deleted what I had just typed. Henry's acting crazy. Why take me out at this hour and then not talk? I put my phone away, flashing a winning smile. Haha, Henry, you're such a joker. I was actually praising you to her. He just gave a cold snort, neither agreeing nor disagreeing. The car had been driving fast for almost an hour, and I was about to nod off. I was closing my eyes, ready to fall asleep when I heard Henry's cold voice. We're here. Yawning, I got out of the car. Once I looked up, holy crap, Henry brought me to a real estate office. If I'm not mistaken, this place belongs to his family. I was shocked. Was he really making me sell the house to make his new girlfriend feel better? Not only does he not want to pay the child support, but he also wants me to sell my house. That's pretty low. Henry was already inside, leaving me awkwardly standing at the door. Can I refuse? How do I refuse? Does my refusal even matter? Though the house is in my name, meaning he can't do much if I disagree. But I'm just so naive and straightforward. How could I possibly compete with the likes of his wealthy family? He's got 100 ways to make sure I can't stay in this city. I was outside looking troubled when Henry noticed and turned back. He frowned, seeming a bit impatient. You planning to steal the plants from out front, or what? I pouted and hurried to catch up with him. Those plants are too cheap, not interested. If it's luck, you can't escape it. So inside, I nervously started to talk. Henry, if you're in trouble, you can tell me. The economy sucks right now. Selling a house doesn't seem smart. As a business mogul, you must know that. I rambled on, and Henry led me to the building model display. He looked at me like I was nuts. Who told you I'm selling the house? He grabbed a laser pointer and aimed at the building model's crown jewel. This one, do you like it? I was stunned, not getting his meaning. He frowned. Don't like it? How about this one? It's the biggest unit. Wait, he's offering to buy me a house? My worried face turned to a thrilled one. You're buying me a house? Henry said, you're worried I won't give you money next month, right? I'll buy you a few houses, so if I don't pay you, you can sell one. That's what he meant. What a relief. Henry asked about a few more, and the real estate agent kindly described the different features to me. It was overwhelming, and I had to ask. I have 2 questions. Henry, ask. First, I asked Henry, I can only get one? Henry raised an eyebrow, asking back, are you planning to bankrupt me and then run away? I shook my head. Not really. Better to have enough for tomorrow than a one-time feast. I chose one. Then I turned to the agent. Which one's the most expensive? In the end, I easily ended up with the priciest house. Flipping through the contract with glee, I saw Henry sitting beside me, and his gaze seemed a bit softer. After all these years, you still look at houses with so much love. I clutched the contract happily. It's a house, a house. Who wouldn't love that? Never saw that kind of love during our marriage. I felt defiant. Was he calling me a gold digger? Even if I am, that's rude. Annoyed, I argued, nonsense. Check our wedding photos, my eyes are filled with love. My friends even said they were sparkling. Henry said directly, your eyes shone because of a 10-carat perfect diamond. I couldn't argue. Who wouldn't get starry-eyed over a 10-carat perfect diamond? Seeing my silence, Henry spoke, so I bought you a house. Can you now relax and just spend money at home? I paused, what do you mean? Henry continued, I heard you joined a horseback riding club for work. You're working now? I nodded. Yeah, I started earning my own money. To my surprise, Henry wasn't happy. Am I not giving you enough money? Why work? It's dangerous out there. If you fell off a horse when I'm not around. I blinked, I'm a modern woman. I can't just rely on others. I want to have my own career, earn my own money. And then what? Henry countered. Make lots of money with that career. Am I not giving you enough money? I knew he was technically right. But earning money on my own feels different from relying on my ex-husband. It's not the same. Henry had all kinds of logic. What's different? Earning your own money or your ex's, it's still about making money. You're still my wife, even if we're divorced. If people know you have to work, what does that say about me? Does it look like we're poor? Henry tried convincing me, and I listened, pouting. I muttered, but aren't you and Judy getting serious? If you two get married, where does that leave me? Henry immediately asked, who told you I'm marrying Judy? That's what everyone says, it's all over social media. Henry gazed at me for a while before saying, Judy's just a jewelry spokesperson we hired, strictly work, nothing more. I didn't say anything, but inside, I thought, typical player line. I didn't bother much about it. If Henry didn't want me working, I could just do it secretly. Henry's too busy to keep tabs on me every day. The rumors about Henry and Judy were really buzzing online, but Henry still sent me money on time. Once the money hit, I grabbed my best friend for a shopping spree. She's more business-minded, so after shopping, she arranged for a top makeup artist, who usually works with big celebs, to do my makeup. Looky here, with that cute face of yours, no wonder Henry was so head over heels for you. Get a top makeup artist and you could totally strut the red carpet. My bestie pulls me along, babbling, when bam. We almost crash into someone turning the corner. I didn't get a good look at who it was, but seeing my friend about to collide, I quickly pull her back and say sorry without even thinking. I barely get the apology out when the agent of the person opposite us yells, "How does just anyone get in here?" That's when I realized who it was. Seriously, talk about running into old enemies, it was Judy. She's got a whole entourage, 7 or 8 people carrying coffee and her dress train, walking like they own the place. I glance at my bestie and me, both loaded with bags. My friend's got bags, Judy's in stilettos, and I'm in flip-flops. Not exactly the most flattering contrast. Judy spots me too and snorts, "What a coincidence, Clara, running into you everywhere." Smiling, trying to play nice, I say, "It's an honor to bump into Judy. Are you here for a makeup appointment too?" Before Judy can reply, her agent pipes up with an eye roll, as if any random wannabe can share Judy's makeup artist. Judy's got top-tier status, makeup artists beg to work with her. My friend and I exchange a look. It's been ages since we've dealt with such a pompous jerk. She's about to fire back when the makeup assistant comes out. Spotting Judy, she lights up, quickly glances my way, apparently comparing our statuses, then practically skips over to Judy. "Judy. We're all set up for you, ready whenever you are for makeup and shooting." She ushers Judy and crew in, ignoring us entirely. While my friend watches us being ignored, she heads to the front desk, tapping it. "Hello, we booked makeup and a shoot at 3. Can anyone assist us?" The assistant, interrupted while getting Judy's autograph, is peeved but manages to come over, saying, "Sorry, but since Judy's here, we can't accommodate other guests right now." I laugh, "But you texted me before I left, reminding me to be safe on my way here. Yet now you're saying you can't see me? So which is it, your way or my way?" Faced with this, the assistant's face turns sour. "Well, you saw the situation. We can't just ditch Judy for you, right?" Her expression is downright haughty. I was thinking if appointments need changing, I'd at least get some compensation. I mean, I like saving money even though I've got plenty. But her attitude ticks me off. So I'm not budging. I toss my limited edition purse over, strutting like I own the place, and say, "Excuse me, I booked for 3 o'clock, and since you didn't give advance notice, I expect my makeup and shoot as per the reservation." My bestie backs me up, saying, "I don't know about supermodels, but we did book ahead, and you didn't warn us or anything. You can't just decide to kick us out when we're here. We plant ourselves on another couch. Money talks, right? Sure, my status might not be as high as Judy's, but in terms of cash, I'm not losing. Judy, staring right at me, looks like I'm trash. Clara, I hope you didn't think I came to steal your reserved slot. Seeing you here was a surprise. I came last minute. Hope there's no misunderstanding. I reply, no worries. No misunderstanding here. She smiles, glad to hear. What's meant to be yours can't be taken, right? Is that a challenge? Before I can react, my friend leans over and whispers, is she implying if Henry was truly yours, she couldn't snatch him? Her voice is just loud enough for everyone to hear. Judy's face turns green instantly. Not long after, the makeup artist comes out. He greets Judy warmly, making her assistant pretty smug, thinking they've won. But surprise, surprise, after chatting with Judy, the makeup artist suddenly spots me and lights up. He walks over and eagerly shakes my hand, long time no see. Why didn't you tell me you were coming? I'm stunned. My friend is, too. Seeing my blank face, the artist explains, I did your makeup for your wedding. Oh right, Henry had mentioned hiring a top-notch artist for our wedding makeup. Can't believe he's become an industry star in just 3 or 4 years. My friend whispers, how come you don't remember having a makeup pro at your wedding? I whisper back, when you've got a 10-carat flawless diamond sliding onto your finger and a $2 million wedding dress, you think anything else was memorable? Judy isn't happy, she's been at odds with me, and now the artist focuses on me, even calling me ma'am. While riding Henry's coattails feels good, we're divorced, so I clear things up, I'm no longer married. The artist beams, oh well, you must let me do your makeup next time you tie the knot. Top-tier artists really are pros. He smoothly set me up before heading to glam up Judy. I wasn't there to pick a fight, and seeing things resolve nicely, and getting under Judy's skin, a weight won't bother me. Word reached that while Judy was in her shoot, she blew up, saying the makeup was a mess, and stormed off half done. 8. The makeup artist was pretty annoyed and said straight up, I usually only do makeup for first place. You, coming in third, of course you'd think I didn't do a good job. Fun fact, when Judy started her career, she placed third in a supermodel competition. Rumor has it there was some shady stuff going on that landed her that spot. I couldn't help but give the makeup artist a thumbs up and spent thousands on a card in one go. Even though the makeup artist got some revenge, the rumors about Judy and Henry just kept going. Not too long after, some paparazzi caught Judy leaving Henry's place late at night. That's pretty much a smoking gun. Looks like my ex is really about to become someone else's groom. I wanted to screenshot the trending topic and DM it to Henry with a congrats, boss meme. But then I thought, wouldn't that mean I'm too interested in him? A good ex is supposed to act like they're dead. Pretend to not care at all about this stuff. So that night, I called up my bestie, and we hit a club to hang out with some male models. I didn't dare post on Moments, but I crafted a high-energy video and posted it on my short clip account. The video had me clinking glasses with various hot male models, with the caption, when I get rich, I'm totally going to the bar, picking the hottest male model, making him drink. When he's crying, I'll touch his face and say, I feel for your pain, let me fix it. The video blew up in no time, racking up over 10K likes. Lots of followers related, rich lady, your life is my dream. Among them, a user named 732546 commented. I didn't pay it much mind since there were hundreds of new comments every minute. But not long after, Henry texted me. Where are you? I didn't reply, and after a while, he sent another reply to me. Still, I ignored him and put my phone on silent. My bestie and I partied for another half an hour, and suddenly the club tunes seemed to quiet down. As I sipped my drink, a chill crept up my spine. I turned around. Oh hey, it's the ex. He looked pissed, those charming eyes glaring coldly at me. Before I could react, he grabbed my wrist. I tried shaking him off, but he just scooped me up and carried me out of the club. He tossed me into the back seat of his car. The driver, knowing his place, raised the partition, making it a sealed-off spot in the back. My bestie tried to catch up, only to be blocked by Henry's assistant. Was it just me, or did it seem like the assistant was trying to pull her into his arms? Don't tell me my bestie's getting involved with my ex's assistant. While my mind was on my bestie, I heard Henry say, "Using my money to party with other men? Who taught you that?" I didn't notice it at the club, but once in the car, I realized Henry had been drinking, and the smell was strong. "Have you been drinking?" He raised an eyebrow and shot back, "Why can you drink and not me?" I smiled apologetically, "Of course you can, drink as much as you want, whatever you want, who am I to stop you?" This time, though, Henry wasn't having it. He turned to look at me, eyes sharp as ever. "Would you care about me?" That question caught me off guard. I hesitated to answer, and he pressed on. "Divorced, so you don't care about me anymore?" I didn't get what he meant, and didn't dare overthink it. Judy's late-night exit from his place flashed in my mind. "Henry, we should have our own lives." I didn't even mean to say that, but clearly, once I did, his expression darkened. If I were younger, I might have thought this was Henry showing he cared about me. But hey, we're divorced. Can't afford that kind of thinking. Some people don't love you, they just don't want to lose you. I'm guessing that's how Henry feels about me now. I kept smiling, locked eyes with those deep-set eyes in the confined back seat space. "Henry, we're divorced. We should live our own lives. You want to date someone else, marry them, that's fine. Just let me know, and I'll be there. But I should live my own life, too. I might date, might get married." After I said that, Henry stayed quiet for a while. Finally, he told the driver to pull over. I was ready to be kicked out. Instead, he got out first. He told the driver, "Get her home safe." Then walked away without looking back. Was it just me, or did Henry's silhouette seem a lot lonelier? Henry's driver took me home, still calling me ma'am politely. I paused and thought it's time to stop deceiving myself. I explained, "I'm divorced from him, you don't have to call me that." The driver just smiled and nodded, "Sure, ma'am." Really though, we're divorced and even the driver doesn't listen to me. I thought I had made it clear with Henry that it was over and we'd let things fade out. But that very night, Henry was trending again. This time, it wasn't about Judy. It was about me. A video of Henry at the club looking for me got uploaded online, and someone saw me getting out of Henry's super fancy car with the 8888 plate. Someone spilled the tea, "Man, isn't Clara's ex Henry?" At first, people didn't believe it, thinking I was stirring up drama, especially with the recent hot headlines about Henry and Judy. No one believed me. The buzz would have died down quickly, but then an account showed up posting her with me and Henry, pics from our wedding. Captioned, "Clara and Henry's wedding was the most lavish I've ever seen." That confirmed Henry was indeed my ex. Many company employees started flooding my comments. "Can't believe we didn't know you were the young madam." There were even comments from fans like, "Girl, you never told me your ex was that dude." Everyone in the circle knows Henry. Thanks to this trending topic, and with some insiders spilling details about my relationship with Henry, my followers doubled in no time. My best friend was laughing so hard she almost fainted. "Ha ha ha, Henry really is your lucky star. Even rumors with him are boosting your followers." I looked at the surge in followers and pondered. Feeding off my ex-husband's drama seems fair, right? I didn't comment on it. But I didn't expect Judy's crazy fans to pop up. They accused me of purposefully releasing info during Judy and Henry's scandal to steal the spotlight. Back when Clara said online that her ex was rich, everyone asked, but she didn't spill. Now she does, must be on purpose, right? We've already divorced, can't someone stay quiet? No matter how you jump, you're not getting back together. This ex-wife doesn't compare to our Judy, no wonder she's an ex-wife. Seeing these comments, I hadn't even divorced yet. My bestie took my phone to save me from seeing upsetting stuff. The next day, she told me opinions had changed. Judy's crazy fans were going all out insulting me, but she also had haters who couldn't stand it. They dug up old photos of me and Henry from high school and college, with a storyline. Judy's haters turned into fans of me and Henry as a couple. A few artists even sketched us together. A rich guy falling for a simple girl, who wouldn't ship that? To provoke Judy further, her haters set up a fan page for me and Henry. Our views skyrocketed. At first, everyone thought, well, an ex is an ex. If Henry's into Judy, he wouldn't be with me. But this whole thing blew up, and Henry never said a word. So Judy's haters got bolder. A content creator with millions of likes tagged me, saying, "Rich lady, can you win back your ex-hubby?" Fans echoed the sentiment. "Yeah, rich sis, I think your ex still loves you, by what you said." I've never seen a rich guy pay his ex-wife a 7-figure settlement monthly. And last month, he just bought you a house, according to what I've found. Rich sis, I support you two getting back together. I really can't stand Judy. Comments like these flooded my account. Every time I posted a new video, people chased me for answers. I had to meekly reply, "You guys really think I can get back with him? I'm afraid my ex would kill me. If Henry wanted to get back together, we would have by now. Judy wouldn't be around." I didn't want to make it awkward, so I asked my bestie, "How do I make this buzz go away faster? What if Henry thinks I'm trying to ruin his new relationship and stops my allowance next month? You can divorce, but don't cut the gravy train." My friend thought for a bit, very seriously, "I'll try to dig up dirt on some other celeb and distract from your trending topic." But before my friend could dig up any dirt, Henry's name went viral over a video. A fan screenshot one of my old posts about Henry not liking me and tagged me, asking, "Miss Clara, do you misunderstand your ex-husband?" In the video, a flashy car with a prestigious 88,888 plate parked outside my building. The driver stood respectfully, and there was Henry, clutching our divorce papers, sobbing by a tree. Even though it was a bit shaky, it was clearly Henry. Through the noise, his voice was distinguishable. He sobbed, "Wah wah wah, my wife doesn't want me anymore. She spends my money on male models and says she'll marry someone else. What do I do?" This video left everyone mystified. Henry's head over heels in love. Romantic types often come from wealthy backgrounds. If they're so in love, why did they divorce? Henry's hashtags shot to the top of trending topics. Everyone wondered why, if Henry loved his ex so much, Judy was leaving his house at night. Judy had a live stream that day. Thousands swarmed her broadcast to ask what was going on. The viewer count jumped from a few thousand to over 100,000. Initially, Judy thought her popularity pulled in the crowd and joyfully responded. Seeing the real questions, her face darkened. The hosts tried to smooth things over. "Seems like everyone is curious about certain things, but today is Judy's beauty session, only beauty questions please." It wasn't just the audience confused, I was too. Henry likes me? How come I, the involved party, didn't know? I used to joke about how in novels, the main couples love each other to death but misunderstand their feelings. It seems such a cliché. If they love each other, how don't they know? Then I reflected on Henry and me. I truly believed he no longer loved me, which is why we divorced. Otherwise, when I suggested divorce, he wouldn't have agreed so quickly. Now, over a year later, seeing this video of him clutching our divorce papers and crying outside my building. Seeing the security guard out front look so used to it. "Dude, you must do this a lot at my place, huh?" After watching it 99 times, confirming it's no deep fake, it's real Henry, I nervously took out my phone and texted Henry. "Henry, I heard you still like me?" The moment I sent it, I tossed my phone 6 feet away, anxiously waiting for a reply. 1 minute passed, no response. 5 minutes, still nothing. Half an hour, zilch. At this point, I'm breaking down. I sent him another message. I just asked casually. Everyone online was talking about it, so I figured I'd ask for everyone. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm interested in you. LOL, I really don't care much at all. You like whoever you want, it's not like I'm bothered. No reply. Fine, I won't message anymore. You think I really want you to respond? Right now, some fierce woman just hit her breaking point. I threw down my phone, grabbed a bottle of wine, and ran to my bestie, bawling. Wah, Henry is such a show-off. I'm done liking him. Even when Henry was on business trips, he used to reply the same day I messaged him. But this time, nothing, even by the next day. That wasn't normal. I tried reaching his assistant but couldn't get through. Called the executive office, all they said was, Henry's on a business trip, not sure when he'll be back. 3 days of this. No contact with him. On the 4th day, finally some news about Henry. Bad news. The company's struggling financially and might go bankrupt. I was still in a Chanel VIP room picking things when I read that message. I froze. I walked to the door to call his assistant to confirm. Before I could dial, I bumped into someone familiar, Henry's cousin. Back in the day, she made a huge fuss fighting Henry for inheritance. We only kept the company steady with the jewelry line Henry and I started. Can't believe she hasn't given up after all these years. She greeted me warmly, even though I wasn't into it. She said, my dear sister-in-law, don't be hostile. You're divorced from Henry now, we're not enemies. I admire your talent. Since Henry might be bankrupt, not sure he can afford alimony. Why not join me? I'll find you a nice position. I smiled, thanks, but not interested in working. And don't worry about alimony from Henry. Finding no edge, she huffed and left. A Chanel staffer approached me. Clara, any styles you like just now? This season had quite a few things I liked, but I shook my head. Not really happy with any. I left the mall and finally got through to Henry's phone. His hello wasn't as calm as usual, voice shaky. I frowned, asked, so the rumors are true? You're really going bankrupt? Henry chuckled softly, voice still steady, why? Worried I can't pay alimony next month? My eyes stung, Henry, you're a jerk. Is that what you think of me? Noticing my tone, Henry softened up, trying to comfort me. Don't worry. I've got this. Just keep living your life. I replied defiantly, I'm not worried about you. With his safety confirmed, I relaxed a little. After hanging up, I looked up gaps in the financing online. After crunching the numbers, I took out my bank card, property deeds, and the jewelry Henry gave me. My bestie saw and figured out what I was up to. She sat beside me with the deeds. Girl, you think it's worth it? When Henry bounces back, he might marry someone else. I thought back to when I first learned about Henry's family's wealth. I asked him, did you worry I'd only like you for your money? He said, I didn't tell you 'cause you weren't ready to meet my family. I wasn't hiding it. I hoped you'd be materialistic, 'cause I'm rich. Even with all the fights and divorce, he'd never spoken harshly to me or treated me poorly. He's in trouble now, of course, I'll help. Taking back the deeds, I started packing. He was good to me. I should help. I had prime real estate and jewelry, easy to sell. When people tried lowballing, I pretended to hold back. Everything sold at a good price. After selling, I gathered the money into a bank card, took it to his office. Henry wasn't there, so I left the card in the drawer. Sent Henry a message, cards in the drawer, password is the day we first dated. No reply again, but it doesn't matter anymore. The money will help him somehow. Did all I could do, packed up, moved with my bestie back home. The luxury bragging account I managed had gathered some followers. Bestie said not to waste it. Started posting small town life updates. Some followers figured it out, commenting, did she use her assets to help Henry? I didn't answer, but they assumed I did. Everyone was like, true love in adversity. Meanwhile, Judy, who'd been linked with Henry, denied any association in an interview. She even volunteered to terminate any endorsement relationship. Reporters pressed on, then why were you caught leaving Mr. Henry's place? Judy's face fell, struggled to keep a smile. I have friends in his neighborhood, can't I visit? Really feels like a case of when the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. Judy's haters didn't let her off the hook either. They somehow found a video of Judy trying to cozy up to Henry, only to be pushed away by him. Everyone called her a gold digger. With the news about Henry's bankruptcy overshadowed by Judy's drama, a few rich ladies even stepped up to bash Judy. Judy fell from grace overnight. Her endorsements vanished, and the whole internet turned against her. My best friend and I were enjoying the calm in our small town. When my uncle and aunt took Henry's money, they moved off to a big city and bought a house. They left the house in the town to me, and it was perfect with its cozy 2-story setup and a little yard. I was worried about Henry, couldn't sleep, so my bestie confiscated my phone to keep me from reading the news. We stayed in that little house for about a month until I realized things had changed outside. How did I find out? Well, a bunch of guys in black suits surrounded my yard. I came back with groceries and saw these men around my place. I rushed over to find out what was going on. When I got closer, they all bowed in sync. "Good day, ma'am." I was so shocked that I dropped my tomatoes. Henry's assistant came over, quick on his feet to pick them up for me. He smiled at me and said, "Ma'am, Henry's waiting for you inside." Completely puzzled, I took the tomato and walked in. There was Henry, sitting on my bed, holding our divorce papers in one hand and the bank card I gave him back then. He looked at me with teary eyes, sitting a bit pitifully. As soon as I walked in, he opened his arms. "Honey." I was even more confused. What happened? "Are you broke and need to stay with me now?" He looked pitiful while crying, so I went over and hugged him. I patted his back, trying to comfort him. "It's okay, people have their ups and downs. This house is enough for both of us, and I can make some money now, it's enough for us." He buried his face in my waist. "It's not right for me to live off you when we don't even have a status. Let's remarry." Before I could finish my sentence, he sat up straight. "Okay." And just like that, an even bigger diamond ring than the 10-carat one from our first wedding was put on my finger. Holding my hand, he said, "Honey, let's get married again." This guy was sneaky. I glanced at the ring on my finger. "Weren't you bankrupt? Where did you get the money for such a big ring?" Henry smirked. "Who told you I was really bankrupt? I faked it to find the mole my cousin had planted in my company. By the time I found the mole, I realized you were gone and sold everything, even our wedding photo frame. After the divorce, I had a large wedding photo in my house. I'd look at it whenever I missed him. But when I worried he didn't have money during the bankruptcy, I even sold the frame." Feeling a bit awkward, I said, "Well, the frame was valuable." Henry held my hand. "Then let's take new wedding photos, shall we? Let's get married again." I felt happy, but then had a thought. If you really liked me, why did you agree to the divorce back then? When I asked for a divorce, I felt ignored. He was always busy, and I was alone at home. I didn't fit in with the rich wives, and I was jealous seeing him with those socialite girls. I just exploded with negative emotions and decided I didn't like him. I packed my bags and left. Henry rushed back from a business trip to find the house empty. He tried so hard to convince me to return. In the end, he sighed, saying, "I'll agree to the divorce. Come back first, and I'll give you some money." Thinking about it, I felt a bit annoyed. "You didn't love me." Henry looked helpless. "You left with nothing and had nowhere to go." "I was just scared you'd starve. Divorce was better than you starving." Come to think of it, he was right. I left in such a hurry, had nothing with me, and after 2 meals of instant noodles, I went to stay with my bestie who was traveling at the time, leaving me in her house. Without help or money, I was really close to starving. Henry noticed I was softening and looked at me. "Let's get remarried and have another wedding. After all, you sold your house and jewelry to give me the money. You still love me, right?" In the end, Henry took me back to his family. As we got in the car, I saw my best friend holding hands with Henry's assistant. I knew she had given away my location. We smoothly remarried, and Henry insisted on throwing another wedding, publicly announcing it. The makeup artist for the wedding was the same as before, a celebrity in her field. While working on my face, she said, "I knew you two would get back together. Henry cried in our store after your divorce." Many couples go from school uniforms to wedding dresses, but with Henry and me, we had 2 weddings. The ceremony happened as planned, though the officiant's words were a bit different. He said, "Clara, do you take Henry to be your partner, not to divorce in this lifetime?" Wow, that was to prevent another divorce, huh? Seeing my hesitation, Henry tugged on my sleeve. "Say, I do," quickly. I whispered, "I like this house." Henry immediately said, "Buy it. Buy them all." I beamed and told the officiant, "I do, I won't divorce again." So my former husband became my current one again. Meeting him and our journey had its challenges, like drinking iced Americanos, but it was worth it in the end.